What's up, y'all? It is Uncle Frank. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to another Team Beer Guts beer review. If it's your first time finding us, well, I'm glad you did, and hopefully you dig what we do. Or what I do, not my multiple personalities. Basically, just talk about beer. Not going to rate them, not going to rank them, just talking about beer and beer styles. And sometimes if there's something else going on, we'll talk about that as well. Right now, it's hurricane. So, not going to talk about the hurricane. It's wind, it's rain. And so far, at least in my portion of New Hampshire, it hasn't been much of anything. So, but it's that gloomy, rainy, windy kind of day, which makes dark beer a perfect choice for the day. A Scottish ale, a brown ale, maybe an ESB, something to that effect. So I decided to pull this out, and I've been drinking it already, and I poured it into the glass while I was watching WWE pay-per-view. Yes, guilty pleasure. I watched WWE pay-per-views. SummerSlam was freaking amazing. If you're a wrestling fan, like, this is one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a while. Not going to say what happened, just going to say I was thoroughly entertained. Except for one of the women's matches. I wish they could have done something different with that. But I was like, I'm going to drink some bigger beers and some dark beers, and I pulled this out, and I really didn't expect to have too much out of it. And the flavor is so good. I was like, man, I wish I was reviewing this beer. And I'm still drinking, and the pay-per-view just ended. I'm like, I'm going to do a quick review on this beer. So, as it ends up, I did pull another darker and an aged beer. You can see there's not much head on this. And this happens with a lot of the older beers, your vintage beers, beers that you want to cellar. So, higher ABV, usually bigger strength, and maybe some hop content to Russian Imperial Stouts, barley wines. You could do it with Belgian triples, but I found aged Belgian triples to not be very good. But something like that, old ale, and of course experimental ales and things that are barrel aged, going to last for a little while. So I pulled this out. You lose head retention on those, your carbonation goes down, and you definitely get some oxidation. So if it's a style double IPA, yeah, big on alcohol, but you don't want to age that because oxidized hops taste and smell like you know what. So, but your darker malt, sometimes it adds a little complexity to it. So when I first popped this, it definitely smelled a little oxidized. You lose carbonation. It's kind of flat. But the aroma is still there. And the more I sipped on it, the more it warmed up, I was like, I want to review this beer real quick and talk about it. So this is, I still have the bottle and a little bit left in it. This one is called South by Northwest. And this is from Widmer Brothers Brewing. And this beer was released in 2012. It's 2021. This is almost 9 years old. And just in a weird thing, me being a Rush fan, I thought it was kind of cool that it's a storm of 21 and I'm drinking a beer from 2112, one of the best concept albums from the band Rush. Anyway, so what this beer, what they did is a darker malt, and they took South and Northwest style ingredients. So some chilies. They did some cocoa nibs, different chocolates. In fact, I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, but cinnamon, pecans, green chilies. Complex, traditional Southwest flavoring. Brought to you by the way of the Northwest, hence South by Northwest. It was limited edition number 7, so Widmer Brothers used to do this limited edition series. This was the 7th of this that they did, and this clocks in at 9.3 or 9.4. It's a little scratched off the bottle, so I can't tell for sure. So the chilies, the spicy chilies is still there. So if you can find this, if you have a shop that's near you that still carries some old vintage beers, or maybe you have one in your closet, you should pull this out because it actually tastes pretty wonderful. The green chilies add some spiciness that still comes through. The cinnamon should add some dryness. I'm not really getting cinnamon out of this. Cocoa nibs, some dark chocolate, but that also could be chocolate malt. I don't know what the malt bill was on this particular beer. but it's really interesting, and those flavors still come through. There is some oxidation in the nose, but it's bypassed by the green chili and everything else. So if you like imperial stouts and you like barley wines, you'll really like this beer. I'm thoroughly enjoying it and super happy that I ended up popping this open. So 2012, they didn't. I don't think they didn't do it again. So you have to look for a vintage year on it. But South by Northwest, Widmer Brothers Brewing. It's 22-ounce bottle, and yeah, dark color and perfect for a gloomy, rainy, windy, hurricane day. So sipping on this and enjoying it. Cinnamon's a little bit there, but it could be the oxidative flavors, as I said, and I got a little raisin and some complexity. Until then, or the next time, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and drink good beer. Appreciate you hanging out. Uncle Frank out. Cheers, and be safe in the hurricane.